All right. I want to welcome Jake Lang from the entrepreneurridealong.com. By the way, Jake, before you introduce yourself, as I'm pronouncing your web domain name, which is like a lengthy domain name, is it the Entrepreneur Ride Along or is it entrepreneurridealong.com?
It is theentrepreneur.com because entrepreneurridealong.com wasn't available and nobody created that website. So I had to mix it up a little.
All right. So guys, you are listening to the Building My Freedom Business podcast. And my guest today is Jake Lang, who is, whose business is the entrepreneurridealong.com. That's where you can find him. He's got a podcast with the same name, the entrepreneurridealong.com. And I am going to talk to him about his book, his first business book, which is called Step One. Jake has done many things in the past, and this book is he talks about his experiences, but we're going to go take a deep dive into that. Jake, I am very grateful for you giving me some of your time, and I'm very keen to learn about your background story. So as part of your introduction, Jake, could you please tell us a little bit about where do you come from regarding your journey? Have you always been an entrepreneur, or did you have a job before? How did you ended up in the whole online world?
Yeah, of course. And thanks for having me here, by the way. I love to be here. But yeah, kind of my background is I never thought I'd be an entrepreneur. Didn't even know I could be an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. I first kind of got into it back in 2014. I had graduated from college in 2014. Started my career as a financial analyst. And I started listening to podcasts when podcasts were starting to get big. So I started listening to Pat Flynn and John Lee Dumas, Cliff Ravenscraft, some of those big names in the online business podcasting space. And that's when I learned there was this whole world of niche online businesses and the whole, you can start a website, start making money online. First book I read was Tim Ferriss' 4 Hour Work Week. And that just blew my mind that, wow, you can start a website about really anything and start making money. I just always thought you needed to invent something to be an entrepreneur. I thought you had to be Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, one of those guys that invents a tech product, and they were the entrepreneurs. I figured I had to go work 40 hours a week, and that was my career path. But so 2014, first got introduced to this world. I started building online businesses. I started a couple websites that didn't work out because I had no clue what I was doing. But then around 2015, I had finally started to figure things out. I started my first successful online business. That the first time I made money online was my website that I still operate now called associatepi.com. And what I did is I created online courses to help employees of the insurance industry. I was working in the insurance industry at the time. I created some courses to help them pass these exams, this certification that you had to earn as an analyst in the insurance industry. And that was my first aha moment where it's like, oh, wow, I can create a course, put it online, and people actually buy this course from me to help them pass their exam. So fast forward, it took me a while scaling up these online businesses on the side, and I've started now 7 businesses since then. Not all of them worked out, so I'm still holding a portfolio of 4 online businesses right now.
All right.
that I still manage today. And I built that up on the side over 7 years. And this past April 2021, I quit my job and took on entrepreneurship full time.
Wow.
And now it's full-time gig. So that's kind of my story of where I started and how I got here.
So after a whole year of COVID, you decided, I'm going to leave my job and I'm going to go for it.
Exactly. I'm already at home anyway, so might as well just stay home and keep doing what I love. So.
I would like to talk to you a little bit about that, but about that process of deciding to quit your job, because man, that's a big thing. But I wanted just to go back a little bit. When you think about your first online business that made money, do you remember maybe the first moment where you first made money online?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I was driving home from work or I got in my car in the parking lot about to drive home, and I checked my phone and it said, it was a Stripe notification that said $554. Somebody went on and bought 3 of my online courses at once. And I was like, who is this stranger on the internet that just paid me $500? I called my girlfriend. She's now my wife, but girlfriend at the time. Somebody just paid me $500 online. Like, can you believe this? And yeah, I was hooked after that.
it is magical, isn't it? That moment.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard work to get to that place, but with perseverance, it's an amazing experience. I still look back at it and remember it myself. But so out of these businesses, which business that you started have you got the most fun memories of?
Fond memories of, I would say, is actually the Entrepreneur Ride Along, which is my big project now. It's my main business now. And I started a lot of niche sites in different areas. One was about training this certain type of dog, one in the insurance space, one in that agile education IT space. Now, the Entrepreneur Ride Along is really what I'm passionate about. So that's why it's the most fun memories, because I just get to start businesses, track what I'm doing as a case study, and then teach that to people. And I get to talk to entrepreneurs all day long about their crazy ideas, their crazy businesses, and what's working for me, what's working for them. So that's a blast, just meeting and coaching other entrepreneurs.
So tell me that moment when you decided to take the jump, take the big leap, leave your job behind.
Yeah, so I probably should have left my job maybe 2 or 3 years earlier, but I just think I had some mental blocks from growing up my whole life in the traditional education path, traditional get a corporate job. Everyone in my life to that point, all my surrounding support system was like my dad's an engineer, my mom's a real estate agent, so it's kind of very go to school, get educated, go get a great job and work. All my friends are doing the same thing. So I think I still had a bit of a mental block to like, can I really do this? Like this it's all working on the side, but can I do it full time? The final push came, my wife and I had talked about it for 2 or 3 years about me doing this full time. Finally, one day, it was actually April 2nd of this year, just out of the blue, she sat down and was like, you're going to give your 2-week notice today. She's like, today's the day. Like, we know you don't like your job. At this point, I had scaled up my businesses on the side to where I was making more than my day job. So she was like, it's a no brainer. You got to do it. Give your notice today. And I said, okay, today's the day. I gave my 2-week notice. April 16th, I was done with the corporate life and took it on full time.
So what was she seeing in you that made her push you? I mean, were you happy in your job? Were you okay in your job, or were you desperately wanting to get out, but you were worried and you needed a push? What was it that she was seeing that, well, basically she instigated that process?
Yeah, so I would say she's seen me from the beginning, because we were together the whole time since college. We've been dating, so she saw my whole journey to getting here and how much work I put in. And it's not that I hated. I guess I hated my job and I didn't like what I did there, but I just, I loved the people I worked with. I liked the people at the company, and I liked the companies that I worked for. But I just hated sitting down 40 hours a week, as I was a financial analyst, and I was just sitting in Excel, creating reports all day and pass up the reports. I didn't do anything creative and fun. So she knew that I get really excited and happy when the day's over and I get to work on my online businesses, or in the morning before I started the 9 to 5, I would work on my online businesses. And that's where the joy came from. She always saw the joy, the passion was in that, the side business. So it was kind of just her like, okay, it's time to do what you love and it's making money. Go do that now. Like, you don't need this day job anymore. So she gave me the final push.
So, and tell me, April 2021, you took the jump, the leap, and how has it been for you? I mean, did you think, because the interesting thing, I don't know if you recognize this, but when you have little time for your business, somehow you are extremely productive and creative, and you get lots done. And I remember suddenly having full-time time for my business, and I suddenly was overwhelmed with, I mean, what to do, I mean, what was it for you like when you took that leap and suddenly you had like the whole day for your business? What did you do? How did you go about developing it, growing it?
Yeah, I'm with you on that I felt the same thing, where I used to work maybe 2 or 3 hours a day if I could squeeze out that much time with my day job. Now I can put in as much time as I need. You would think I'd be super productive. But I agree with you. There's a little bit of a learning curve, some speed bumps there, where all of a sudden I had 10, 12 hours a day. And all of a sudden I just felt like there was so much to do, because I feel like I just wanted to do everything. And I took on a bunch of projects at once. I started writing the book, as you mentioned, step one. I started working on that right away. And that just takes up a big chunk of time. I'm starting to figure it out now, because I was in a mix between overworking when I first left my job. I was also, I took that 8 to 10 hours that I was working, filled it all up with working on my businesses. Now just go 10 hours with talking to my wife, which isn't healthy because I just be sitting on the computer all day long. I loved what I was doing, but at the same time, it wasn't really a healthy way to manage the work process. So I'm definitely getting into a better flow now of prioritizing. When you have the day job, you're forced to prioritize tasks, do what's important, do what's going to push the business forward. Now it's like, oh, maybe I'll record this podcast. Maybe I'll make this video. Maybe I'll write this blog. And I'm doing some content that, doesn't really push the business forward when I could be out there coaching or connecting with somebody or writing another book. So now I'm starting to learn that prioritization and focus on that task that's going to push it forward. And I've got it kind of figured out now as to when my work schedule is going to be and when to turn it off right at 5:00.
Yeah, great. So tell me a bit about the entrepreneur ride along. What is it that who is your ideal customer? Let's start there. Tell me who's your ideal customer.
Sure. So most of the people that I help are entrepreneurs that are out there. Basically, the question I get asked all the time is people that come to me and say, I want to start a business, but I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So it's people that are familiar with the entrepreneur world, familiar with online business usually, but it's like, man, I just want to do something. I want to start. No clue what to do or how to start. That's typically who I help because I've been in that situation. I remember being there 7 years ago. Yeah. And I'm fully familiar with that feeling of you read the 4-hour work week. It's like, wow, I want to do this, but what do I do? How do I get started? And so I help a lot of entrepreneurs start their first online business and scale it, get traffic, and start selling those first products.
Okay. I'm always curious and interested to know what do you do to attract customers? Because, when you start a business, you are at the very beginning. If you have 0 people on your list, you got to start somewhere. Can you tell me a little bit about what you did and what you're still doing to grow your list and how, once people are connected with you, how do they connect with you? And what is sort of the funnel or the process that gets them to decide to either, I assume that you have courses or that you offer coaching. I mean, tell me a bit about that.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you for the entrepreneur ride along specifically. Yeah. As you can imagine, as you know, the entrepreneur space is incredibly competitive, the entrepreneur education space. So usually when I start a business, I'm all about blogging and SEO and getting organic traffic to my website. It's a lot harder in the entrepreneurship space where I'm competing with those people I mentioned earlier, Pat Flynn, Cliff Ravenscraft, and everybody else is doing it. So I would say for the first 6 months to a year, and I'm still doing this today, just not as frequently, all of my business came from direct one-on-one connection well, it was during COVID, so it was online one-on-one connection. Primarily by hanging out in places like Reddit, LinkedIn, Facebook groups where there's an entrepreneur community. And there's a lot of newbies to the entrepreneur world that are out there posting on social media saying, hey, I got this idea. What do you think about it? Hey, here's a question I have. I would go in there, provide value, would comment back and forth, talking, answering questions. I'd prove my value. Then I would connect with them and offer them a free 30-minute coaching call. Say, hey, let's catch up. We can take this further. And that's how I made the connections, was one-on-one like that. That would both get them on my email list and get them introduced to me where I could then be face-to-face, have a real conversation like we're having now. I get to prove my value, some expertise, so that I'm not just some crazy guy on the internet. I can actually present what I was working on and some ideas that I have for them. And that's how I booked all my first coaching clients. I ran a couple of group coaching courses and I booked all my clients that way. Current day, I know that's not a long-term feasible plan. It's a feasible plan, but for scale, I can't be spending 8 hours a day on coaching call meetings and trying to book every client that way. So I do a bit of podcasting and blogging, and that brings organic traffic into my website now. Took a little while for that to kick in because it's competitive, but that brings me in traffic that goes onto my email list. My email list will lead you to books and courses and through a traditional email funnel. But the big project, the big differentiator that I had is the book that I just wrote. I wrote the book Step One, and that is bringing in a lot of new clients because it's people that are really connected to me now because they find my book, they buy it, they read 200 pages of what I have to say, and then they connect with me, join my email list, download the companion course, and we start having conversations. And that's the big project. I'm probably going to write another couple of books for this website and That's been my differentiator, to get traffic and leads that way, rather than trying to compete in the blogging and podcasting space. Even though I'm still doing that, it's just not my main competitive factor.
Yeah. I heard you say that you offer people, let's say, a 45-minute coaching session. I know that one of your mentors or the people who coach you in the past, Cliff Ravenscraft, that he follows this sort of process from Rich Litvin. What is it called again? That book,
Prosperous Coach.
That's the one. Whereby you go really deep and you offer the best in yours, for free. Is that still a similar method that you follow? To start connecting to clients?
Exactly. I learned it straight from him. So Cliff Ravenscraft and Chris Pavone, he was another one of Cliff's mentors, but Chris is the one that really brought it to our mastermind group. I was in Cliff Ravenscraft paid mastermind group, and Chris brought it to us, this Prosperous Coach method.
Yeah.
Cliff ate it up, learned it, and then started teaching all of us. And so that's exactly where I learned it from. And it works really well, both for just connecting, providing free value, help. You do a couple, maybe 2 or 3 free coaching calls.
Yeah.
Then if they want to move forward, they're either hooked and want to buy your coaching practice, or you just made a really strong connection. They're going to buy your group coaching, your courses, whatever it is later, because you just provided so much help and free value to somebody. You're not trying to sell anything. They basically ask you to pay for your coaching by the end of it.
Yeah, man, sounds good. I was just curious about that because there are so many different opinions about you should not offer something for free, or you should offer something for free. So I was curious about your opinion. So thank you for sharing that. So let's talk about your book. Tell me, how long did it take you to write that book?
So the writing process was probably one of the shorter parts of it. Is that took me about 2 months to write the 8 chapters of the book.
Wow.
I love writing, so I had no problem sitting down every day writing 2,000 to 4,000 words. That was a blast. That was the most fun part of the book. The entire process from when I first pre-sold the book, so I pre-sold it, got 15 people to buy the book before I wrote the first word, just to validate that they're interested in the concepts. I know you're familiar with that. So that started in March, and I didn't publish the book until September 1st. So pretty long time in between first idea and first sale between official publish on Amazon. So it took about 6 months of work total, with the whole back and forth with the editor. And I used 99 designs to publish it, to get my cover created, and formatting, all the little stuff, and the publishing and launch, and that stuff all adds up and eats up time.
I mean, the whole editing, my wife wrote a book and the whole editing takes so long. Because you're dependent on the editor, and you want to have some input there as well. So but let's talk about that book. I mean, everyone needs to go and buy the book. Tell me, if people want to buy the book, step 1, the book is called by Jake Lang. I know that they can go to Amazon, they can get it. Is it also available on your website? Where do you prefer people to go to buy it?
Easiest place is step1book.com. And I just create a little 1-page website. And that's usually where I send people to. It'll just take you right to Amazon.
Okay. So by not giving too much away, of course, people need to read the book, but tell me in as many words as you would like about the book. Tell me, who is this book for? Well, I think you've already said it is for people who are at the beginning, your ideal customer, who are wondering where to go. But tell me a bit about the chapters, how you wrote it, and what you wanted to do for you and your business.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to give as much as I can away for free.
Well,
so ask me any question that you want. I'll talk through the whole book if you want.
Well, you've done 8 businesses, 7 or 8 businesses, online businesses, and you created a book based on those experiences. So maybe you can tell me a little bit about the framework that you've created.
Sure.
So for anyone listening who is at that same place, I want to start an online business, but I don't know where to start. Take it away.
Yeah. So I would say it's really like 6 steps that I lay out in the book. So the first step, or one of the first chapters, is just about why online business and why I love online business. I won't get into that because I think a lot of people listening here are familiar with online business, and they know it's easy to start. It's relatively inexpensive, and it's very profitable. That's the gist of it. So then the process after that is, all right, I sold you on online business. I want to start one. What do I do? How do I get an idea for this? So the first step is what I call this brain dump exercise, where I ask a series of, it's close to 50 questions. And I just ask you to give a couple answers to each question. It's basically a little worksheet that you fill out where simple questions as one of them is as simple as look around the room and list 5 things that you see. One of them is list 5 things that you do in your day job, list 5 software programs that you're an expert at. The purpose is just get a big list of possible business ideas. It might be something like we're using Zoom right here for this. It might be, you might have wrote Zoom down, and that could be your business ideas, teaching people how to use the Zoom platform. So that's the first process, just get this giant list of nonsense and business ideas and thoughts. You come up with 150 ideas. In the next chapter, I ask you a couple of what I call narrowing questions, because we want to narrow this list down from 150 down to 10 ideas. And that's, again, simple questions like, are you passionate about this idea? Could you see yourself writing a blog every single day about this business idea? Could you see yourself making money in this niche? So, I mean, if I had, I'm looking, I got a keyboard in front of me and that's on my list, I might say, I couldn't see myself selling an online course about keyboards or anything like that. So I'm going to take that off my list. Easy questions like that just help you quickly go through your big list that cut it down from 150 down to your top 10, your 10 favorite ideas.
Yeah.
Once you get the top 10 there, the next process is I use the tool called Longtail Pro. And it's a keyword research and it's kind of like an SEO blogging tool. But I give some steps for how you can download this tool with a free trial. And you can take your 10 business ideas, and I give you some criteria to take each idea, plug it into Longtail Pro. And basically what you do is you type in these keywords. So say my idea was entrepreneurship. I could start typing in ideas about these keywords about entrepreneurship or online business. And what I want to see is Longtail Pro will return a big analysis and a bunch of results for keywords that people are searching on Google related to entrepreneurship and online business. And it will give you some metrics that show how many times per month are people searching this. So say for the entrepreneur ride along, online business is one of the keywords that I strongly focus on. You probably see that there's hundreds of thousands of people per month searching online business. So good. I know there's a big market size here. Then I want to see that there's a bunch of subtopics there. Things like how to write a blog, how to create a podcast, how to, create an online course, where there's also people searching for that, but not a lot of competition on those subjects. So I know that I could go in and create a business teaching somebody, or maybe create a course on how to create a podcast. And there's not a ton of competition. So my content and my course stands out above everybody else. Entrepreneurship, you'll notice, is very competitive. So it wouldn't do very well in this analysis. You'd have to carve out something specific, but kind of like I'm doing with a coaching practice and a book, is I'm doing it a different way. One of my businesses is in the insurance space. I told you that selling online courses for this CPCU exam. You type that one into Longtail Pro and you'll see 12,000 people per month are searching CPCU certification. Another couple thousand are searching for this exam, CPCU 500. And there's nobody out there talking about it. And so this was the analysis that I did before I started this business. And I realized I could be the one that goes out there, becomes the expert on this topic. Then I own that niche and they buy my courses because they find my content. And then I have the best online courses in this niche. I'm one of the only ones doing it. So low competition, enough search volume in that market, so I can create a profitable business. So you do this analysis on the 10 business ideas, and then you narrow that down from 10 ideas down to 3 ideas. So you're remaining with 3 ideas where you validated that there's a large enough market size and not too much competition. And there's a bunch of topics that you can write about according to Longtail Pro that are giving you keywords and subtopics that could be podcast ideas, blog ideas, whatever content you're going to create. So you're down to 3 ideas. The last final step is to choose one idea from those 3. And that process all comes down to doing a deeper dive analysis of talking to your target market and figuring out what is the pain point of each of these target markets of your 3 final business ideas. So you create a survey and you survey. I recommend talking to or surveying at least 50 people for each idea. And I give you some steps on how to do that, easy ways to get survey responses and do a little bit of work looking at what questions are already being asked online on forums and on social media. Basically just trying to figure out, is there a pain point in this target market? So like I talked about keyboards earlier as my business idea. might go out there and I might find that nobody's having a pain point about keyboards. And, there might just be no trouble. So I don't want to start a business in that niche because I can't solve a problem there. So what product am I going to offer other than maybe an Amazon affiliate website, which is okay,
Yeah.
but I'd rather something more profitable, and I want to sell courses, memberships, something higher ticket.
Yeah.
So then you look at my insurance idea. I looked that one up, and that's where I saw, okay, I could sell a $500 course here. I talked to my target market. Everybody is saying, I hate the textbooks. I wish there was an online course. The textbook, the traditional textbook that's out there for these exam, doesn't actually prepare me for the exam. It's all these high level concepts, and then I take the exam. I don't feel prepared. So I realized I could come in. I've already taken these exams. I know what type of questions and what type of content you need. I'll create a course that's much easier to study and is actually going to prepare you for the exam with practice exam questions that I wrote after taking the exam. So I know how the questions are formatted. And so I saw that pain point and it's like, okay, here's my business idea. I see there's a market. I see there's a pain point. I see that there's a clear product that I can launch. That's one of the questions is, okay, you found your pain point. What product could you sell them? And is it a profitable product? I'm going to choose that business idea, not this niche keyboard business idea, because I see much more profit and a pain point here that I can solve. So that's the one business I choose. So that in the end, you go from 150 potential business ideas down to the one best idea on your list. And that's the online business that you run with.
Cool. So you are coaching people, helping them with getting their business idea off the ground. If you listen to them, what are the obstacles or what are the most asked questions or their challenges that they come to you with?
Yeah, the biggest question is why I wrote the book, because most of my clients will come to me and say, I want to start a business. I don't know what to do. So we start this process, and this is the process that I teach my clients. And that's why I turned it into a book. In addition to that, the biggest question is, I've got this business, but I'm not getting any sales. Or I've got this business, I'm not getting any traffic. What do I do now? Because a lot of times people will have this idea, they'll start the business, but then nothing happens and it's just a website sitting out there. So it's, what do I do now that I have this website? And that's usually, I would say tier 2, that's what I help most of the other clients with.
I'm gonna throw something at you, Jake, and I haven't prepared you for this.
Let's hear it, yeah.
But entrepreneurs, we like challenges. I'm going to throw a scenario to you, and I really would like to hear from you what you think I should be doing in this situation. So one of my businesses that I've been doing for the last 12 years is I am a trainer, coach, practitioner, a specialist in something that is called the solution focused approach. So I work with families I used to work with families at risk of breakdown. And I've really I specialized in the relationship part of that scenario of families. And then I started training professionals in that approach. And I really developed a good business out of that. But at some point, I made the decision that I wanted to pivot this. And I've recently done this. I love entrepreneurs. I love the world of entrepreneurship. It's something magical. But what which you maybe have heard as well from people, or maybe you got your own experience in this, when entrepreneurs are trying to develop and grow their business, specifically at the beginning of their journey, lots of entrepreneurs are risk takers. And often their partner is someone who needs certainty in life, and you see these things clash. So I come across entrepreneurs whose relationship is at breaking point, and I wanted to dive into that niche. I've seen that I'm not building my freedom business because I want to start coaching or training people how to develop an online business, because there are a lot of people out there doing that, and it's a difficult market. And I really wanted to use my old skills. So I'm at this place right now whereby I have 0 people on my list. And I know, and not that I want to talk about myself, that I'm good at this. It's something that if I get an entrepreneur who is at that place of breaking point in the relationship, that I can truly, really, really help them. My issue is how do I reach those people?
Mhm.
And I'm just curious from your experiences, and like I said, I'm just throwing in at you. What do you think I should focus on first? To, like the podcast, building my freedom business is one element of the long-term journey.
Mhm.
I'm seeing 18 months before I'm expecting to see some
Mhm.
return there. What else can I do now, Jake, that might help me to get my message in front of the people that I need to help?
Mhm. Well, I see this as very similar to my entrepreneurship website journey. As I talked about in the beginning, it's like, yeah, you do these long-term strategies, podcasting, blogging. That's exactly what I did at the beginning because I know it's going to pay off in a year or 2 years. And at this point, I'm now starting to see it pay off. Finally, I'm starting to see the traffic roll in. I would recommend you do exactly what I did in the beginning, where it's all about that one-on-one connection and meeting people, coaching and helping, because there are so many people out there in your market, whether it's on forums or social media or communities like we're in, like the SPI Pro community or something like that, where they're talking about these issues and they're asking for help. And they're looking for somebody like you with more than a decade of experience to come in and actually provide that one-on-one connection and help, because they might be out there searching on Google for this, but there's 10, 20 options. They don't know who to choose. Somebody like you can come in and answer their questions and provide that one-on-one value, be that savior, and then they're connected to you for life because you're that guy that came in and really held their hand and helped them along, taught them the process that they're either going to pay for your coaching, or they're going to be on your email list consuming all your content and buying your products down the future, or they're just going to spread the word about you, anybody else, because as entrepreneurs, we have a lot of connections in the entrepreneur space because we need to meet other like-minded people. You help one entrepreneur, you serve them for free, get on a couple of coaching calls. You can tell their friends that are having the same problem, hey, come meet with Eric. Here's what he helped me with. And that often, what I found, has also led to podcast interviews, guest blogging opportunities, people shouting me out on their email list, especially when you're helping other entrepreneurs. That it grows organically that way. Well, these slow build things like podcasting and blogging are kicking in. So that would be my suggestion to you.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, because most of these things are on my list, and I love it that it is that simple. Just connect to people, start serving people,
just help people.
Yeah. Okay, good. And like I said, it's not a short-term thing; it's a long-term thing. So we have other businesses that provide the money. This is a passion business, and which I hope that it will evolve. But thanks for that, Jake. Really appreciate it. What I would love to know, and maybe this is a deep question, what is your bigger why in life? Why does Jake walk around this planet? What with your business, what you're doing, what's your purpose?
Yeah, I would say my purpose right now is I love helping people. Right now, that's coming out in the form of entrepreneurship, because I'm addicted to starting online businesses, and I get so caught up in this online business space that I can't help myself. So I would, if I could, I'd start a new business every day, but my time does not allow it. So I get a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun, a lot of passion sitting down with people. And if I can't start a business, but they can, I get to help them start their business. So I get the same enjoyment out of that, and talking through these ideas and these plans and these strategies and watching them grow. So that's a big part of my mission. And I will say another big part of my mission is on the personal side, is that my wife and I rescue and foster dogs, and we help a lot in the community. Actually, this Sunday, we have 4 foster puppies. We already have 4 dogs that we had adopted and kept. We have 4 Great Danes, so they're big dogs. We are now bringing 4 Great Dane puppies, so we're gonna have a total of 8. They're just staying here for a couple of weeks until somebody comes and adopts them, but they're coming to hang out at our house. So we do a lot of that work on the side when we're not working, as we help to save dogs that are in shelters. Oftentimes they're in kill shelters. They're going to be put down. So we say, nope, send them to our house. We'll let them hang out for a little while till somebody adopts them, and you don't have to put them down, and somebody will give this puppy a life. So that's a big mission for us outside of the business world, is helping dogs.
Man, how is it possible that it's so quiet on your side?
My wife is downstairs probably throwing treats at the dogs right now. So this don't bark and ruin this interview.
All right. Well, I won't hold them up too much longer. But I have two more brief questions for you. What does Jake do to recharge your battery? I mean, what is it that are you a meditator, a reader, a journaler? I mean, what do you do to recharge your battery?
I definitely do all those: meditate, journal, and reading. I would say that's usually how I start my days, kind of get myself in the mode of starting work. To wind down at the end of the day, I like getting outside. I'm big outdoors. My wife and I love to hike, or we're in the United States and we've almost visited every national park. We do go on these road trips and we do a lot of hiking, go to the national parks in the United States. And I live in Maine in the United States, and we're right on the coast. So go out paddleboarding, kayaking, surfing, bring the dogs out there to the beach. And that's the easiest way to turn off the work brain, is go to the beach, let the dogs run around, go swimming for a little. You know, we can only swim for like 3 months in Maine because then it's snowing the rest of the year. But other than that, we get those couple of nice months where we can go out and get on the water. So that's how we wind down around here, is just getting outside.
From what I've seen from Maine, it is beautiful. It's got such variety. It's so beautiful in the seasons as well. Yeah, definitely. Let me think, because I think, well, the last question is, if I would meet you again, and I know, it's no point in planning so far ahead. Let's say in 3 years' time, I meet you again, Jake. What do you think might be different about your business? Have you got plans to grow your business? Would you like to keep it small and tight? I mean, what's the future for Jake?
Yeah. I'll talk you through it a little bit. That big plan is, as I mentioned, I love writing. So I think in 3 years, I'll at least have 2 more books published by then. And I've got them kind of outlined and planned. So by then I should be up to 3 books total published about entrepreneurship. And one of the big projects I'm working on is turning my platform into more of a membership platform.
Cool.
Reason being is I have a couple online courses right now, but sometimes it's difficult to direct my leads that are coming in through this book, direct them to which course do they need. Do they need the advanced one that's like, here's how to do SEO and scale and get traffic and get sales? Or do they need the beginner? Here's an idea. Here's just how to get a website online. And just thinking through this in my mastermind groups and talking to people in my network, the plan is to put on a membership. That way, no matter what stage you are at in your journey, you can come join the membership. You can get in there, find all the content that you need from day one until 5 years from now, all the content that you need. And I can have that personal coaching connection right there in the membership, where I can get on one-on-one calls with people and I can provide more one-on-one help rather than one-off. Somebody buys my course here and then I'm trying to connect with them. Instead, you join the membership, you're already connected with me. I'll just say one other thing in addition to that is my goal is to start a new business every single year. I've been doing that and I've been documenting the process. And along the way, I'm selling off one of my businesses now, and that will free up some time to start a new business. So I think that's going to be a trajectory, is have 2 or 3 side businesses at a time. That's my case study. Sell off the other ones as I'm moving on. So that's where I'm at in 3 years.
I think you've got it worked out brilliantly. Starting up business is amazing, but while you do it, you're learning and writing it down, creating books from it, helping people. And I love the membership model. What you described there, for me, that is my favorite kind of model. A place where you have a group of people who are like-minded, where you can learn and, at some level also have contact with the coach itself. So that's basically brilliant. Jake, I really thank you for your time. I've taken quite a bit of more time than I was expecting from you, but I thank you so much. Really appreciate it. One more time, if people want to learn more about your business, your book, where should they go? And if people want to say hello to you, how can they connect with you?
Yeah, so the book is over at step1book.com. You can check out me and my website at theentrepreneurridealong.com. And I love meeting people, so just send me an email, jake@theentrepreneurridealong.com. And I love talking to other entrepreneurs, so happy to connect.
Good. And don't forget the podcast, the Entrepreneur Ride Along podcast. I've seen some incredible guests that you've got there, interesting guests. So I'm going to go through those episodes and listen to them. Again, thank you for your time, Jake. I wish you all the best. And, we'll hopefully bump into each other in the SPI Pro community. And I wish you a really good day today.
I look forward to it. Thanks for having me on the show.
You're welcome. Take care.